Namo Doi Savariyantam, Namo Doi Savariyantam, Namo Doi Savayiriyam, Namo Doi Savujayam, Namo Doi Savadrivavati Savanam, Omkara Mindu Sanyam Nityam Jayanti Yogina, Kamadam Mokshadam Sri Omkara Namo, Manganam Bhagavanayo, Manganam Rupamohi, Manganam Kunkundari, Ujendram Vosu Manganam Namasana Vishmara. Swanubhutya Jatha Sthiti Swadhay Bhavaya Sarvama Vibhava Nirutanidata.
Om Namo Loe Sarvatrika Varti Ariyantanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrika Varti Siddhanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrika Varti Aryanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrika Varti Vajjanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrika Varti Samanam. Om Karam Bindu Sanyuktam Nityam Dayanti Yoginam Kamadam Moksadam Chaiva Om Karaya Namo Namah. Namo Samaysaraya Swanubhutya Chakasate Chitsavavaya Bhavaya Sarva Bhavantarachide Ajnanatimirandhanam Gnana Anjana Salakaya Chaksurudmiritam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Tirthankaro Jagatana Jayavanta Varto Omkaranada Jinano Jayavanta Varto Jinana Samo Sarana Sau Jayavanta Varto Ne Tirthachara Jagama Jayavanta Varto Namo Tirthanayakane Namo Omkaranadane Omkara Sangarotene Namo Te Sri Kunda Kundane Aho Upakara Jinavarno Kundano Dvani Divino Jina Kunda Dvani Apya Aho Te Guru Kanano Aho Te Bhagavati Matano Dhruva Achalane Anupama Gati Pamel Sarve Siddhane Vandi Kaho Sutta Kevali Bhasita Asamaya Pravrata Are Om Eka Suddha Sada Arupi Jnana Darshanamay Khare Kai Anyate Maru Jari Paramanu Matra Nati Are Jamane Pratem Jagana Natikarakanathi Vedaka Are Jani Jakaramodaya Nirajara Bandate Majamokshane Om Namah Siddhebhyo Om Namah Siddhebhyo Om Sri Suddhatmane Namaha. Jai Janendra. Today is May 31st, 2017 and Wednesday, and we'll continue our discussion on Samaysar. We are on Samaysar stanza 12, and we finished the meaning of the stanza. Now we are going for the further explanation by Amritchandra Acharya Dev, that what he has talked about in this stanza. As we have talked before, and again it will be good to just make sure, because certain important information about Gunsthanak is very important for understanding, and if we have pretty good grip on that one, then it's easier to understand this stanza. As it said that on the first Gunsthanak, there is all the 28 subdivisions of deluding karmas are in operation. Then on the fourth Gunsthanak, 7 subdivisions are gone, as we have said before. So at that time, Samyak Darshan occurs. So 7 types of 7 nature of the deluding karma are gone, but 21 types of subdivision of our deluding karma are still present. So here Samyak Darshan has started on 4th Gunsthanak. At the same time, the 21 subtypes of our deluding karma present. In 5th Gunsthanak, Samyak Darshan is continues, and now 4 more subdivisions of the karmas are gone. On 6th and 7th Gunsthanak, furthermore 4 subdivisions of the deluding karmas are gone. That means from 4th Gunsthanak to 5th Gunsthanak to 6th and 7th Gunsthanak, there is a purity is present, and at the same time there is also some impurities present. Gradually purity is getting increased and impurity is getting decreased, and ultimately in 12th Gunsthana, impurity is totally gone, and now the soul has obtained the complete passionless state in which there is no presence of any rag and dvesh. And at that time, the aspirant soul, sadhak jeev, aspirant soul, enters into 13th Gunsthana, which is called Keval Gnan. So now he has obtained Keval Gnan. So 4th to 12th Gunsthana is called sadhak, means aspirant, and out of which most important are 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. 8th Gunsthana, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, all those, they last only Antarmurat. Antarmurat means they may last less than 48 minutes. They go, actually, when we say less than 48 minutes, they can go just like that very quickly. The soul passes through those stages very quickly. So basically, we do not need to worry about those states because it's very rapid movement of those states. Mainly, soul stays in a 4th, soul stays in a 5th, soul stays in 6th and 7th. For example, Mahavishwami remain in 6th and 7th stage for 12.5 years. At the same time, Rishabdev Bhagwan remained in a 6th and 7th stage for 1,000 years. So these kind of things, they last long. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 8, 9, 10, and 12. So that too, the annihilation ladder or the suppression ladder, which we are not going to go into too much detail because that's not our subject right now, but that lasts very momentarily. That's why we don't make too much attention to that one in this stanza. Pertaining to this stanza, mainly we have 4th, 5th, and 6th, 7th Gunsthana, that is called aspirant state. And 13th Gunsthana, it is called completion of the aspirant state. Aspirant stage, the aspirant soul has certain kind of aspiration. He wants to achieve something. And at 13th Gunsthana, he has achieved everything. So now, what happens in 4th, 5th, and 6th Gunsthana? 7th we are going to keep on the side right now. 4th, 5th, and 6th. What is happening? The soul has a purity within. That's called conviction of the eternal true nature of the soul, self going on. And at the same time, he also is expressing himself into the alien objects of the universe. Soul at the 4th, 5th, and 6th Gunsthana, especially 4th and 5th, when he is not into the experiencing phase. Atmani anubhuti nathi, te darmyan. At that time, 4th and 5th state, he is into the vibhav, means deluding state, means he is attached to the rising of the fruition of the karma. Fruition of karma, he joins with them. Soul at that time knows that I am not supposed to join to these things. I'm not supposed to join to the fruition of the karma. But it is my weakness. It is my instability. My stability is to stay within. Instead of that, I'm remaining in an unstable state by making associates with the fruition of karma. So in 4th, 5th, and 6th stage, when he's not in the experiencing phase, at that time, this soul has been getting associated with the fruition of karma, and at that time, that is called conventional point of view. When this soul is into the experiencing phase on a 4th Gunsthana, on 5th Gunsthana, and on 7th Gunsthana, when he's on experiencing phase, then it's called absolute point of view. So this aspirant soul has both the things operational, absolute point of view and conventional point of view, both are operational. In the first Gunsthana, only impurity is operational. Only on 13th Gunsthana, complete purity is operational. It's in between, this aspirant soul has purity operational as well as impurity operational. So this is the person is being described in this stanza. Now question comes, I'm not in fourth, I'm not in fifth, I'm not a monk with the 6 and 7 Gunsthana. Why should I know all these things? Well, I should know all these things because Kunkun Acharya Dev wrote down this stanza and he explained what happens in this state. And as long as I'm aware of it, because remember, we know very well right now because we went to exhaustively long many weeks for understanding absolute point of view and conventional point of view. So that understanding is now getting practical application in this stanza. So without further delay, we'll go to the slides, and I'll come to this slide. Share. Okay, so here we are. Last time we were over here. Aspirant soul is having enlightenment, but has not achieved omniscient state here. He just had experiencing of the soul at fourth spiritual stage. Then he increases his personal effort and enters into the fifth spiritual state, means he has increased his purity. As purity increases, proportionately impurity starts decreasing. So fourth Gunsthana, certain thing is there. Now on fifth, that purity has increased somewhat more and impurities have decreased somewhat more. And on the sixth and seventh state, purity has gone almost complete and impurity is almost wiped out. Still, this is purity is not complete, impurity is not gone completely, but it is almost both are achieved. And then 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10, 11 step. That's a separation ladder, or 8, 9, 10, 12. It's a annihilation ladder. And so it goes through those things and then goes to ultimately 13 Gunsthana. If he's on 11, then he's going to come back and then he's going to increase his personal effort more and then go to the annihilation ladder and go to 13 Gunsthana. So, aspirant soul has an enlightenment but has not achieved omniscient state yet. Now, for him, for this aspirant soul, there is partial purity and partial impurity present in the mode. That's we talked just now. There is still presence of milder form of increase of attachment known as conventional point of view. When he is in the experiencing phase, then he is completely engrossed into the aspiration, into the experiencing phase, into the state of the eternal soul substance. But when he's not into the experiencing phase, then he has a milder form of an increase of attachment is operational at this point. For example, fourth Gunsthanic person, he is doing business right now. He is running the household right now. He's married and has children with him also. That is his conventional point of view or increase of attachment state. Even though he is doing business, even though he is into the family life, even though he has children, within he knows this is not my true nature, and I get joined in the fruition of the karma because of my weakness, because of my lack of intensity of the personal effort. For example, the Kunkun Swami was in 6th and 7th spiritual stage. He was 6th and 7th throughout the day, he will go to 7 spiritual state, then will come back to 6, then go to 7. So innumerable time he will just go from 6 to 7. Now, when Kunkun Swami was not able to increase his personal effort fully, in the sense, if he would have increased his personal effort to the full capacity, then he would have remained engrossed into the eternal soul substance for more than 48 minutes. And when that happens, he will be going to omniscient state right away. Means he will take the annihilation ladder, he will go to the 8, 9, 10, 12 Gunsthanak, and ultimately he'll end up going to the 13th spiritual development state, and then whatever. So he was not able to achieve that 48 minutes of stability in the innate state of the soul, that upon his separation from the soul, from this body, means technically death in this time, then his soul went to heaven. He's going to stay there for 33 Sagropam years. But he will be in the 4th spiritual state. When he was human as a Kunda Swami, he was in 6th and 7th state. Right now, he is in 4th spiritual state. So you can see the agony that he is going through. When in 6th and 7th, 6th and 7th, 6th and 7th, and staying longer time in 7th, each time a little bit more, each time a little bit more. And his personal effort fell short, and as a result, he has to go to the heaven, and now he is kind of not going to be happy even in that state, because it's a 4th spiritual state. So he gets degraded there, even though he has all the physical amenities that he possibly may require. He has it, but he has no spiritual, he is only in 4th spiritual state. Over here he was 6th and 7th spiritual state. So that's what the problem that he is facing there. Now, he knows the presence of incompleteness of purity and presence of partial impurity state that he is passing through. This aspirant soul is aware of this state. He is aware of the partial purity. He is aware of partial impurity. And again, he wants to reduce his partial impurity to complete impurity, a complete removal of the impurity state. He's working on it. He's working. His personal efforts are directed there only. This aspirant soul in 6th and 7th spiritual state, for example, is so much engrossed that he just forgets that he has to eat food also. So us ignorant soul just said, Monk Mahavir is in meditation and he did not took the food today. That means Monk Mahavir did upvas. That means Monk Mahavir did not take food, and that is called upvas. So I'm also not going to take a food, and it's called upvas for me. But we are forgetting that Monk Mahavir did not take the food because he was engrossed in himself. He was too much engrossed in his state of the soul, and he had an extreme blissful state going on that he doesn't remember about the hunger state of the physical body at all, because he is separated from the soul to the body completely. So he knows about that state and he is aware of that. Aspirant soul acknowledges this conventional point of view. He knows that it is his own weakness that he is getting attached to the fruition of the karma from the previous time. He has a previously bonded karma comes in fruition and he joins in that fruition. And that is called conventional point of view. So as we know the definition, what is a conventional point of view? Conventional point of view is having attachment, alien attachment to the alien objects of the universe. We know that part. Conventional point of view can be accused to be a conventional point of view only and only when there is presence of absolute point of view. And when is the absolute point of view start? It starts on a fourth spiritual developmental state. Samyak darshan starts on fourth spiritual state, and at that time, having absolute point of view, having experiencing state of the soul, now the soul enters into convention point of view also. So he is aware of the convention point of view. He does not encourage convention point of view. He wants to discard that convention point of view. So that's what is happening. If we just take the simple example, I'm in the healthful state right now. I have no disease of any kind at all in my body. I'm perfectly healthy right now. And suppose there is an abscess occurs on my hand. So I'm aware of that abscess. I'm aware of that state. And I want to get rid of that abscess also. Same way, aspirant soul, with the experiencing of the soul, he is aware of the presence of the abscess type of inclination of attachment within him. He knows it's part of his own existence, but that inclination of attachment state, rag state, is transient, and he tries to remove that one. He does not encourage, he does not say, this is very important for me. He doesn't give attention to this rag, inclination of attachment state. He wants to get rid of it. He does not honor the state of a rag within. He dishonors that one. He wants to get rid of that one. This state is for knowing purpose for this aspirant soul. He does not give wholesomeness to this conventional point of view. He just says, I have conventional point of view present within my system, and I need to get rid of it. He doesn't give any undue attention to this inclination of attachment, but he has that state that he's passing through that state. So he acknowledges, but he does not give importance. He just says that this is for knowing purpose only. It is not for wholesomeness purpose. Just that it's there. My weakness, it's there. I need to remove. That's all he knows. He doesn't say, oh, Rag, you are within me. Oh, yeah, you have to stay with me. And he doesn't encourage Rag to stay with him. Therefore, it says that convention point of view, vyavahar nahi, jane lo te kale prayojanvan che. At that time, the convention point of view is for the knowing purpose only. It is not for adoration purpose. Jane lo prayojanvan che, adre lo prayojanvan nathi. So adre lo means for wholesomeness. I respect it. There is no respect given. It's simply known that the influence of attachment state is present. So there is going to be constantly these two words will be hitting to us in this stanza: jane lo prayojanvan che and adre lo prayojanvan che. So it is not only for knowing purpose, or it is for adoration purpose. I respect it, I adore it. Who? My experiencing state, my absolute point of view state. I am just, it is knowing purpose only. It is a conventional point of view. I know it and I want to disregard it. I want to discard it, and that's why it's called jane lo prayojanvan che. Now comes in 11th stanza, described about absolute point of view. 11th stanza, when we went, it was absurd. Vyavahara nahi abhutartha darshit shuddha nahi bhutartha che bhutartha nahi asrita jeev sudrashti nishya hoishe. That's a 11th stanza. One takes refuge in the absolute point of view and achieves enlightenment. That's what 11th stanza told us, that you discard the, you just put your attention to absolute point of view, and taking refuge in absolute point of view, one achieves enlightenment. That was the one that we know about it. And at that time, after achieving enlightenment, after entering fourth spiritual development state, this soul is called aspirant soul. He has aspiration to achieve the liberation. So he has a goal established. So he started that process. His train is on the track right now. He put, with his personal effort, he put the train on the track. Now this train is going to take a full speed, and from 4th to the 13th spiritual development state, it's going to go progressively up and up and up. Right faith, right knowledge, right conduct are present but are not complete yet. Samyak darshan, samyak jnana, samyak charitra ekta ek moksha marg se. The path to salvation is a unity of a right faith, right knowledge, right conduct. But this is a path to the liberation. For the aspirant soul has made a pathway, the correct pathway on which he is walking, on which he is progressing. So this right faith means that faith is completely expressed at this point. Until now, that right faith was directed to the alien objects of the universe. And now that right faith is getting directed to the eternal soul substance. So right faith is expressed completely. But knowledge is still having knowledge obscuring karma operational, and knowledge itself is not fully expressed, and partially it is expressed, and that process of partial expression of the knowledge keeps on increasing. That partial knowledge, knowing action increases gradually, and at 13th spiritual development state, that partial knowledge, partial right knowledge becomes omniscience knowledge. So at the beginning state, knowledge is not a complete yet. Same is a conduct. The right conduct has just started at 4th spiritual development state. But now gradually the rag, dvesh, etc., they start reducing in intensity. Soul is using its own purpose. Soul is using its own personal effort. And with own personal effort, soul starts getting its purity. Means his conduct starts increasing right now. So that's what is happening. So right faith, knowledge, and conduct are present, but they are not complete yet. 4th spiritual development state, and gradually the improvement occurs from 4th to 5th to 6th, 7th, and then all the way to 12th and 13th gunstana. So in the aspirant state, some purity and some impurity, both are coexisting. Purity, we give the name absolute point of view. Impurity, we give name of conventional point of view. So absolute point of view, conventional point of view, both are present. Remember, what is happening in the 4th spiritual development state, especially in the knowledge section, what is happening? That this knowledge, till experiencing occurred, it was called ignorant state. Soul is in ignorant state since time infinite in the past. Now, this soul started learning the scripture, started understanding the scripture, started thinking deeper about the nature of the scripture, started thinking about the nature of the soul described in the scripture. And when that state occurs, that soul keeps on meditating and contemplating on that situation, about the purity nature of the soul. Even though it's a reflective thought process, but still the knowledge is getting solidified gradually. Knowledge about the nature of the soul is getting solidified. And when that state occurs, when this appropriate knowledge of the soul is being completely made it available, it is still reflective thought, but now this knowledge will invite the faith attribute, and knowledge will say, hey faith, you are directed to the alien objects of the universe, but instead bring to the eternal soul substance. So now the faith, which was directed all the time to the to the alien objects of the universe, gets redirected to the alien, to the eternal soul substance. When the faith takes turn, faith can be either 100% wrong faith or 100% right faith. There's nothing in between. So faith now becomes right faith, and as right faith occurs, the knowledge also is called right knowledge. So knowledge decided what's a true nature to start with, and then invited faith, and faith went to the eternal soul substance, and knowledge is called samyak knowledge, the right knowledge. And at the time, conduct is also called right conduct. So right knowledge, right faith, right knowledge, right conduct, all those three are directed to the soul substance. And so at that time, partial purity, partial impurity is still present. Purity in the sense of experiencing of the self, and as a result of experiencing, there is a conviction about the eternal soul substance occurs. When soul is in the experiencing phase, it experiences the eternal true nature of the soul. But when the soul comes out of the eternal nature of the self, when soul comes out from the experiencing phase, then he has a conviction in the depth of the back of the mind. That conviction that I am the pure soul. I am the pure soul. That conviction remains. The faith attribute, the mode of the faith attribute is always directed to the eternal soul substance. And when that conviction is persistent, that means in the first thing in the morning, when I wake up, I don't have to go in front of the mirror and say, hey, you know what? Today is a new day, and in the mirror, well, you have the image that you are seeing. That's my image, and my name is Kirit. I don't have to remember those things because it's deep conviction with my name and with my psyche is present. Anybody in the room comes and says, Kirit, I will get up right now because my conviction is deep-seated, present in my psyche. So my faith is directed to the eternal soul substance, and when I'm coming out of the experience, then I'm in the conviction phase. So at the time, knowledge and conduct are also called right knowledge and right conduct. To know this state, what state? That I have a partial purity and partial impurity. To know this state is the motive for this aspirant soul. Aspirant soul has certain motive. And this certain motive of this aspirant soul is to know this state. To know this state that I have this thing present within me. So aspirant soul knows this partial purity and partial impurity, both the state he is aware of it. For honoring purpose only, the eternal true nature of the soul is present. The impurity, it is meant for knowing. And for the purity, eternal trueness of the soul, it is for honoring purpose. So here we are making division. Conventional point of view and absolute point of view. And conventional point of view in the aspirant soul is called knowing, it's for knowing purpose. Jane lo prayojan vanche. And the experiencing phase of the soul means eternal true nature of the soul, which comes in experiencing phase. That state is for honoring purpose, because I want to get engrossed in this state for 48 minutes. And when I do 48 minutes of engrossment, that means I go up to the 13th spiritual development state, and thereafter I'm in the everlasting happiness and peace forever and ever and ever in the future. So the word vavahar desida, there is a word in this stanza called vavahar desida. What's the meaning of this one? This word has created confusion to the ignorant soul. In this stanza, Kunkun Acharya Dev wrote the word Vavahar Desida, and that has created lots of confusion in the ignorant soul. What kind of confusion it has created? To start with, Vavahara Desida means conventional point of view is for knowing purpose only, means Jane lo prayojan vanche. Conventional point of view in the form of rag and dvesh and anger, deceit, ego and greed is meant for knowing purpose. That just at this state, I am in the angry phase, I'm in the greedy phase, I'm in the deceit phase, I'm in the ego phase. So I'm getting aware of it, and that means it's called Jane lo prayojan vanche. Conventional point of view is for knowing purpose only. That is a fact. Now, ignorant soul not only knows, but he puts his own ownership on that state, and that is his problem. What does it do? It does not mean that to show and to give discourses of conventional point of view. Vavahara desida does not mean that it is for the show and to give the discourses of conventional point of view. In the sense, the Acharya Bhagwan or Muni or the Sadguru, his job is to show me the nature of the absolute point of view alone. And he will show me the presence of a conventional point of view for knowledge purpose. He does not show and give discourses of conventional point of view all the time. If somebody wants to give messages about conventional point of view all the time, then that person is not considered as a Sadguru. Sadguru means he is going to give the discourses for the aspirant soul or the person in the first spiritual development state. He is going to give advice how one can achieve samyak darshan, how one can discard the rag and dvesh state. So that is meant for it. See, we'll just sidetrack a little bit over here, that there is a on Moksha Prakashak, on 7th chapter, there are 4 sections are there. Nishchayabhasi, Vyavaharabhasi, Ubhayabhasi, and Samyak Sanmukh Mithyadrashti. Means fallacy of absolute point of view, fallacy of a conventional point of view, fallacy of both point of view, and last chapter is the wrong faith person on the path to achieve right faith. That 4th part is extremely important for our discussion right now here. It says, first one is a Kshayopsham Labdhi, means he has a knowledge. He has a capacity to grab knowledge. as I am 5 sense sentient being, means I have capacity to grab the knowledge. I know that this is a pencil, this is pen, and this is a pen because it does the work or function of writing and everything. This one is a regular phone. It is meant for making phone call outside, and so on and so forth. So I know those kind of things. Um, no, I broke my link. Just let me come back to normal. Okay. Okay. Yes. So the first labdi, the first the capacity that I have is a kshayapsham labdi, means I have capacity to know. I know it. Who are the things? I can have a discrimination within me, what is right and what is wrong. Now, this capacity of knowing within me, I should direct it towards my soul. Until now, till today, I have used my knowing capacity for knowing alien objects of the universe. But now I'm going to use that knowing capacity to know myself. Who am I? Where am I coming from? What's my relationship with the alien object? Who kon chu kyathi thayo su sarup che maru kharu kona sabande valgana rakhu ke pariharu. Those kind of things that I now concentrate. And that is called Kshanabdi. Yes. Question? Yes, Ankit, are you raising question, Ankit?
No, I just wanted to, you referred to that verse from Mokshma. And that's the first place that I had heard where Srimati had written it. But if you in Mokshma Prakasha, Todamal discusses those same questions, and it's almost verbatim. And when I read it in Mokshma Prakashak, I was like, wow, this is preceding Srimad by probably 800 years.
No, I mean not.
Or maybe 100 years to 200 years.
Yeah. So that's why it says that all of the 1,000 enlightened soul, they will speak the same thing, same fact, and 1,000 one ignorant soul will give 1,000 different opinions of a thing. So that's a characteristic of the enlightened soul. So whatever, and that's what I can give you the simile on this Kshayapsham Labdi, Vishuddha Labdi, Deshna Labdi, Pragik Labdi, and Karan Labdi that Total Malji wrote down, and exact same thing that Srimati wrote down.
Kirit, you won't remember this, but in 2013 in the summertime, you came to New York.
Yep.
And I think you spoke for 2 or 3 days in the New Hyde Park Mandir in 2013. And I remember your discussion at that time was 5 Labdis.
Yes.
And in one of your slides, you pointed out the slok, or there's 2 sloks in Atma Siddhi Shastra, where Srimati indirectly mentions those Labdis.
Directly 4 stanzas are there. कशायनी उपशांता मात्र मोक्ष अभिलाष भवे खेत प्राणी दया ત્યાં આત્માર્થ નિવાસ દશાને એવી જ્યાં સુધી જીવ લહે નહીં જોગ મોક્ષ માર્ગ પામે નહીં મટે અંતર રોગ આવે જ્યાં એવી દશા સદગુરુ બોધ સુહાય તે બોધે સુવિચારણા ત્યાં પ્રગટે સુખદાન જ્યાં પ્રગટે સુવિચારણા ત્યાં પ્રગટે સુખદાન તે જ્ઞાને ક્ષય મોક્ષ થઈ પામે પદ નિર્વાણ. These 4 stanzas are exactly what Total Malji has written down in this 7th chapter in the 4th part, Samyak Sanmukh Mithya Drashti. So first one he says, Kshayapsham Labdi means I have capacity to know. That's a Kshayapsham Labdi. Then Vishuddhi Labdi means as my knowledge. Now remember, when we say knowledge here, means knowledge pertaining to the soul only. Knowledge means I'm a NASA scientist and I know everything about that's not the knowledge. Knowledge means soul-related knowledge. So when my soul-related knowledge becomes increasingly in intensity, then directly proportionately my rag and dvesh starts decreasing. That is called Vishuddhi Labdhi, means purity Labdhi, means purity attainment. The knowledge attainment, it keeps on going, and at the time Vishuddhi, the impurity will start decreasing. So those two things go in parallel. And why not? Let's think about it. That when I learn all these things, when I learn about my true nature, then I say, do I have to really project myself to the alien object of universe? They have never given me happiness till today. They will never give me happiness in the future. Why should I look at them? So discrimination starts coming, and so my knowledge becomes stronger, and at the same time my rag and dvesh becomes less and less. My alien attachment becomes less and less. So now those two things. Now the third one comes with the Deshna Labdhi. Now, first two, knowledge is increasing and my impurity starts decreasing, means Kashayani Upsanta Matra Moksha Vilas Bhavekhet Prani Daya Atmarth Nivas, means now this soul has obtained some eligibility in which his anger, deceit, ego, greed have subsided. This soul now goes to listen to the discourses of the monk, the Muniraj or Sadguru. Now, what is the Sadguru going to give the Upadesh to this guy? The true Sadguru's Upadesh has to be. True Sadguru's Upadesh has to be that he will say, listen, if you look within, you will get Samyak Darshan, you will get a bliss, because bliss is within, and you will progress and you will achieve the liberation. So this kind of advice, this kind of discourses one gives, that is called Sadguru. He does not give the last bullet. He does not just show and give the discourse of conventional point of view. You do this, you do that, you do this, or you come to my feet, you just surrender to me and you'll get Samyak Darshan. There are certain outfits in this in the Jain parameter, Jains and Jain, non-Jains thing. They say that come to me, and I will give you Samyak Darshan. I will give you knowledge. I will, you come to me, my feet, and I will give you Samyak Darshan, or the knowledge. How can I give knowledge to somebody? How can I give Samyak Darshan to somebody? Jain's principle, the very first principle is one substance cannot do the function of the other substance. It is so strongly propagated. And here I'm saying that you come to my feet, you just surrender to me, and I'll take. Even Christianity says that way. So what's the difference between those kind of Jain teaching and Christianity? It's the same thing. Only those who are surrendered to the Christ is called true Christian. And when the judgment day comes, then Christ will come and take those people who have surrendered to him. He will take them to moksha or to the heaven. I mean, that whole thing is on the wrong footing. So here, the enlightened soul or the monk giving advice, true advice. What is the true advice? He doesn't give advice on conventional point of view. He gives absolute point of view. Who am I? What's my real nature? Why I should go within? Why I'm related to? So all those things when he says, that is called Deshna Labdhi. So this soul who was eligible right now with his knowledge and having the less of anger, deceit, ego, greed, now he grabs all these things. He grabs all these things and he understands this spirituality much better, then he works on the experimental stage, and he now get engrossed within. And when he gets engrossed within, ultimately he ends up with the fifth labdhi, and that's called Karan labdhi, and he obtains Samyak Darshan. So Srimadji's 4 stanzas are also in the same way. So here we made special reference because this blue fourth bullet is telling that discourses of conventional point of view is not given at that time. Conventional point of view is to be discarded. It is only for the knowing purpose only. It is not to be honored. That's a whole central point on this in this stanza. The conventional point of view is to be known and not to be adored. No adoration for the conventional point of view. Just it's there. It is my weakness. It is my weakness that I get joined into the fruition of the karma. I should not do that one, but I end up doing it. Srimadji was doing business of Paul's business, Paul and diamond business. But he said he does not have a single attachment to that business. He simply does because there is a fruition of karma is there. And so he, with his weakness, he joins there, but he's aware of it that that's not his true state. So having said that, next thing it says, in the 3rd and 4th stanza, the word Bandha Katha comes. In the 3rd and 4th stanza of Samaysar, when we read that one, it says Bandha Katha. I will read those 2 stanzas, what it said, where the Bandha Katha word came. So let's just quickly go through it. In 3rd stanza, it says, Ekatva Nishchay Gata Samay Sarvatra Sundar Lokama Tethi Bane Vikhvadini Bandhan Katha Ekatvama. Bandha Katha word came. In the 4th stanza, Sutta Parijita Anubhuta Sarvane Kam Bhoga Bandhanani Katha. Kam Bhoga Bandhanani Katha. So another Bandha Katha word came. Parthi Juda Ekatvani Upalabdhi Keval Sulabhana. So now this 3rd and 4th stanza, when the word Bandha Katha came, the literal meaning of this Bandha Katha is story of bondage. Katha means story and bondage is bandh. So story of bondage. Now, story of bondage does not create visamvad. Story of bondage does not create deceiving state. Now, which says Bandha Katha is a language. Because Kunkun Acharya, they wrote down 2 stanzas. So word Bandha Katha is mentioned. So literal meaning of the Bandha Katha means story of bondage. But this is not a bondage story. Bandha Katha is a language. That's why we are using the language. But the intended meaning for this language is inclination of bondage. Means bhav bandh. Inclination of bondage, bhav bandh. What does that bhav bandh means? Means there is a fruition of karma occurs. And I, as a weak person, joins myself in fruition of the karma state. Here is a fruition of karma coming every samay. And here, when I'm not in my experiencing phase, if presuming that I have enlightenment, if I'm not in an experiencing phase, then I get joined into the fruition of karma. My joining, my soul itself, by its own inclination, by its own intention, joins into the fruition of karma. So that's called bhav bandh. Means that bondage means the soul itself, by its own directives, it decided to go to the to get attached to the fruition of karma. Not necessarily one has to join, but one joins, and that is his weakness. And that's why it's called Bandha Katha, but intended meaning is inclination of bondage, soul's own state, becoming intense rag and dvesh. That's called bandhakatha. Bhav bandh and bhav ashrav, the two words will come. It will be appropriate to use those two words over here to find it out. Bhav ashrav and bhav bandh. On the other side of the coin, dravya ashrav and dravya bandh. So bhav ashrav, dravya ashrav, bhav bandh, dravya bandh. They both have principal cause, auxiliary cause relationship. They both have nimit nemitic saband. Bhav bandh, dravya bandh. Bhav ashrav, dravya ashrav. All those states, they have nimit nemitic relationship. Now, let's not worry about dravya means a material karma related thing. Let's talk about original first. Bhav ashrav and bhav bandh. What happens? Bhav ashrav means rise of inclination of attachment state in the soul. Independently, without any instigation, the soul creates inclination of attachment state. That's called bhav ashrav. I just became angry with my own doing. Bhav ashrav. Now, how much intense my anger is, intensity of anger is called bhav bandh. Bhav ashrav is a rise of anger. But how intense, then is called bhav bandh. So now we understand those two things. Rise of a rag and dvesh in the soul is called bhav ashrav. But how intense the rag and dvesh are there, that's called bhav bandh. So in short, my intensity of rag dvesh occurring within me is called bhav ashrav, bhav bandh combined. Now, what happens to the karma on the other side? Dravya ashrav and dravya bandh. What happens to them? Dravya ashrav means material karma, generic karma, material karma vargana means generic material karma particles hanging around me. Material karma particles hanging around me, they have decided in their own way to turn into a specific karma. Means this generic carbon dust surrounding me wanted to become knowledge obscuring karma. So converting into knowledge obscuring karma, that is called dravya ashrav. And now this material karma comes and gets stuck to my soul, bondage to my soul is called dravya bandh. So generic material karma particles becoming the specific karma, and here my rag and dvesh arising is a bhav ashrav and dravya ashrav. Now on this side of the coin, this material karma, now they get attracted to the soul and get intensity. With the intensity and duration, they get they hang around with the soul. At that time, what was my intensity of rag and dvesh? Depending on intensity of rag and dvesh, this material karma will get bonded to my soul. So now we understand the word bhav bandh pretty good, and that's why Kinkunacharya Dev wrote the word bandhakatha. Why do you bring all those kind of things over here right now? Because the word vavahara desida, word vavahara desida, he wants to explain to us. And so this word is a vachak. Vachak means, it means discourses on conventional point of view. Vachak means the word itself. It's hot outside. It's a word, hot. It's cool outside. word, vachak. This is a word. It means discourses on conventional point of view, for example. Then this intended meaning, vachya, is different. Kunkunacharya Dev is going to use the word that, remember, in this stanza here, this slide here, this word, he does not give discourses on conventional point of view. So this point, Acharya Dev is expanding. What does giving discourses of conventional point of view? That's what he's trying to explain to us. And for that thing, he is using this Bandhakatha thing, and then he says, watch the literal meaning says discourses on conventional point of view. But the intended meaning is much different. In intended meaning is to know partial purity and partial impurity state. All this discussion we have to do just to understand that Vyavahara Desida is a word. It means discourses to give on conventional point of view, but its intended meaning, it means to know partial purity and partial impurity state. Remember this aspirant soul? He is on 4th, 5th, and 6th, and 7th spiritual development state. He has partial purity, partial impurity present, and that partial purity and partial impurity state to know, aspirant soul knows that I have partial purity and I have partial impurity. That means he got discourses on conventional point of view. That's what he's trying to explain to us. The Gurudevs use extreme fine intellect over here to dissect the meaning of this word, because that particular word itself has given wrong information. And so this is the vachak. This is called word only, but its intended meaning is this 4th bullet over here. This is the meaning of conventional point of view. Motive for the state is for knowing purpose only. Remember here in this bullet, it says, it says over here, it means to know. So motive of this state is for knowing purpose only. This is not for adoration purpose. Jane lo prayojan vanche, adre lo prayojan vandati. So this state that aspirant soul goes through, that he knows that he has conventional state and he is aware of it. He knows that that's his weakness, that he is in conventional point of view. His main aim is to get settled down into the innate nature of the soul, eternal nature of the soul. That's what he wants to do. But he has still weakness. As we said, Kunkunacharya Dev, in this life, he was not able to stay for 48 minutes in his innate state. And that's why when the life came to an end, he has to go to heaven for 33 Sagropam years. And that too, over here, he was in 6th and 7th spiritual state. There in the heaven, he's in 4th spiritual state. So, this conventional point of view, partial purity, partial impurity, mainly partial impurity state, is for knowing purpose only. And that's called conventional point of view. So conventional point of view is for knowing purpose only.
Kirit uncle, in the 2nd and 3rd line, can you just translate what those Hindi words are?
Vachak and Vachya. V-A-V-A-C-H.
Barabar. Vachak means
word. Vachak means word. I say this is hot. That's a vachak. But hot, I feel hot. I feel hot. When I say it's hot outside, means I feel hot. That's what it means. Means its intended meaning is different. Hot is hot. For example, word hot means hot. Now, if you are coming from a cold country, if you are coming from Alaska, then when you come to 100 degree, temperature of phoenix, then it's very hot for you. People who are living throughout the life here, they say, no, it's pleasant over here. So feeling, what is a feeling? So feeling is called vachya. Means in intended meaning, I'm comfortable. Other one say, no, it's hot, I'm not comfortable. No, it's warm, I'm comfortable. So what is the intended meaning of a given sentence? So it says over here, he doesn't give discourses on convention point of view. What does it mean? It means he knows the state of partial purity, partial impurity present within him.
Whatever.
They are
And
not
also,
discourses. They are not. So somebody is not giving discourse, but this is for knowing purpose only.
it's like the vachya means interpretation, kind of.
Interpretation, intended meaning, interpretation.
And these words nischay and we can see here Kunkunda Acharya use vevar. So these words are from this granth, or they're even older. Vevar and nischay, those actual words are from Sanskrit, and they're even older than Kunkunda Acharya, or he introduced them.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, the philosophy, Jain philosophy knew about absolute point of view and convention point of view since omniscience knowledge. And when is the omniscience knowledge came? At least in this time cycle from Rishabdev Bhagwan. But before Rishabdev Bhagwan, yes, there was another 24 sets of Tirthankar, and before that another sets of every Tirthankar propagates absolute point of view, convention point of view. So it is going on forever. Only Mahavir Swami, this is the reign of Mahavir Swami going on. That's why we just say Mahavir Swami gave this idea to us, and Kunkun Swami propagated that thought process further. But in fact, it is going on since time infinite. The origin of this Vyavahar Nishchay is time infinite in the past, Okay? All right. So one does not honor this state, this partial impurity, partial purity state that I knew. I don't honor this state, especially impure state. I'm not honoring the impure state that I have it. This impure state I have it, I'm not honoring that. It is Adrelo Projanvan Nathi. Means Adrelo means it is not to be honored. The impure state is present, but it needs to be thrown out ultimately. I have an abscess on my hand. It's my own, but I don't want to keep it. I need to throw it away. I don't honor this one. It's knowing purpose. It's there within me. I need to get it out. How can I do that?
But Kirit uncle, once you have attained fourth stage, who would honor this state? The conventional state is automatically after fourth stage.
It is meant.
It almost becomes like you don't have to even say this.
You are right.
In a way.
Yes, but for the ignorant soul like us, we don't know what is the reality going on. And as we said before, earlier before, that Mahavir Swami is sitting in his own, monk Mahavir is sitting in his meditative state, and he's engrossed in his state. He's so having a blissful state going on that he even doesn't know, he forgets about eating food. And I'm sitting outside, standing outside, looking at Mahavir. He's standing in the rain, in the heat, in the cold, and he's not eating. So I said, oh, not eating is upvas. So that kind of decision I make it, and I go on a wrong track for us ignorant soul to know the reality, to know what is right, where is the weight to put it on, which one is to be given the less weight, which one is to be given more weight. That I need to know at this stage. And so you are right that an enlightened soul naturally is not going to honor this state, and he's going to have a knowing purpose only. But I don't know that part. And so for my understanding, for my clarity, these things are being explained.
But Kirit uncle, in the fourth Gunastanak and the fifth Gunastanak and even the sixth Gunastanak,
Yeah.
Doesn't all this still exist? There's still Sanjwalan, there's still Pratyakani, Apratyakani. This is, because you have all these kashais, you do have Vikalp, you do have Bhed, and you do have Vyavarne. Unless they're in experiencing, which is few and far between, doesn't this still exist?
Yeah, they do occur. They do occur. Remember, because as you said, that Sanjwalan Kasha is there, Apratyakani Kasha is there, Pratyakani Kasha is there, depending on what stage he's on, 4th or 5th or 7th, So at that time, 4th, 5th or 6th, at that time, those conventional form of toxic emotions are operational. And as a result, soul joins in them with its own weakness. And that state is for knowing purpose, not for adoration purpose, not for honoring purpose. So a question over here from Chirag was, is it not true that a person in the 4th spiritual state will not honor that convention point of view? Yeah, that's true. But suppose I'm a phony baloney person and I just say, hey, I have Samyak Darshan. There's no way that somebody can come within my area of a soul and find out whether I have experience or not. But I start doing that. But now, when I'm doing the convention point of view state, and I honor them, I admire that state, I keep on giving too much weight on that, then to me, I find that that person may not have Samyak Darshan. I may not have to run after him. So these are the things, from both the angles we have to find it out, that who is doing what and everything. Because remember, I have a short life to live, and in that short life, if I end up following the wrong person, my life is wasted over here. I don't want to waste my life. I want to know what is the right thing, what's the reality, what's the pathway I'm going to take it, how I'm going to achieve those states, and all those things. I have to really, really know those things. So it's my responsibility. And Kunkun Acharya Dev gives us a choice at this state for us to understand that what is right and what is not right. Okay, so let's go to the next slide and see what happens. When one takes refuge in the eternal true nature of the self, then he has obtained right faith. Okay, we know that part. He has right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. That also we know. And right faith, right knowledge, right conduct in unity. In unity, it's there. Okay. But in this state, there is having partial purity and also partial impurity is present. Some of the things will come back the same as before. At 13th spiritual development state, he obtains complete purity. At omniscient state, there is a complete purity and total absence of all the toxic emotions. The deluding karma are totally wiped out, totally discarded, totally gone out of the soul. In this stage, that is from 4th to 12th spiritual development state, he has presence of milder form of influence of attachment present. And as we said, mainly 4th, 5th, and 6th, 7th stage, we have to consider 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 stages. Soul is engrossed in his own true state. So there is no conventional form present. This partial impurity state is known as conventional point of view. And as we say, because it's partial impurity, that means there is partial purity. Partial purity is there, that's why it's called partial impurity. If there is no partial purity present, then everything is complete impurity like me having right now. So partial impurity state is known as conventional point of view. He knows this state, he does not honor this state. Samyak Drishti Jeev is aware of this state, but he does not honor this conventional point of view. So those are the things happening. And again, what happens next, I think we'll continue next week, because I think probably new chapter will open it up. And so we will just continue next week. So if there is any question, we can entertain those questions right now. Actually, yeah, go ahead. Okay. Yeah, the whole idea is implementation of the knowledge that we have gathered, and sometimes what is there for me in this one? Well, for me is how I will be able to understand who is the enlightened soul. So those are the things that I'll understand properly, and I will make my conscious decision to go on the right path and everything. And that's why.
So, Kirit uncle, how do you determine who is enlightened?
Well, number one.
How do you determine who is worth following?
Kirit uncle, you can't determine who's enlightened. You're Chadmas.
Yeah. Well, see, for example, the person who is going to know what is a real diamond and what's a cubic zirconia? Who will know it? Only the diamond dealer will know it, right? And to become diamond dealer, he has to pass through certain stages, right? And so now he has come up to this stage and he knows what is right and what is not right. So that way, I also have to increase my level to come to the level in which I have discrimination within me available to know who is right and who is not right. And again, still I may end up making mistake. And so in that situation, what I will do at this stage is, if let's say that somebody is talking right now, somebody is giving discourses, I will only grab the real nitty-gritty things, and I will filter out all the nonsenses that may have happened in that discourses and all the things. So my job is to create my purity, and wherever I get the knowledge, if I'm stuck in my progress somewhere, then from those discourses, if I know it, then I can do it. But Ankit is right that if I'm Chadmasta, I don't have capacity to know who is right and who is not right. And also, if I say right now that yes, the person A has a Samyak Darshan and person B has a Mithya Darshan, then Kripaludev has said, Apavati Nija Mati Mapaye me mani che. Means I will get exposed with my shallow knowledge. How will I know that this guy is right and this guy is wrong? There was a short story, for example, that there is one guy with the white clothes and he is reciting some holy mantras and everything. He's standing under the tree and throws the grain on the floor, in the floor and everything. And from the sky, all the birds are descending to eat those grains. At the same time, there is one bad-looking guy. He has never taken shower, for example. He's a beard is a long beard is there, long hair are there. He has a broken clothes are there. He's coming with a rifle, and he just shoots into the air, and all these birds, they fly away. If only I know this only I knew this part only, then I know that guy was bad. He made those birds fly away, and the white clothes guy was a good. He was trying to give the food to the birds. But now when we found the intention within, then we found out that the guy in the white clothes was waiting. He has a trap laid down on the floor. So he was waiting for all the birds to come down and trap them and then take them out and sell them out in the city. The guy, he knew this part, the bad-looking guy, and that's why he put the gun into the air, and he shoot in the air, and all the birds, they fly away. So I have to know the intention, but how will I know those things? That I have to come to that level. And so buck stops at me. I have to be very examination-oriented person. For that thing, I have to raise my level of understanding. My level of understanding keep increasing, then only the way I'll be able to do the discrimination for right from wrong.
Kirit, didn't you say that it was written that Shayapsham Labdi and Vishuddhi Labdi come way before Deshna Labdi anyway?
Yes. Yeah, you're right. Shayapsham and Vishuddhi Labdi has to be there to make a kind of a judgmental person also. And actually, if you just see the person with a Shayapsham Labdi and Vishuddhi Labdi, he won't be judgmental. He has a, he'll be very docile looking. He's not going to go argument and fight and all kind of things. He will just do his own job and start walking up. Let's say that I start fighting with you. Do you get hurt more or do I get hurt more? Because I'm raising my voice, I'm getting angry and everything. So I have taken my peace away from me. So that means I am at loss to start with. Whether it hurts you or not, that's a different story. So that person who has come to that level, he is not going to go in the argumentative state unnecessarily. So those are the things, and it's a very thin line to walk with. And now you can't just generalize all the things. As and when you come to a situation, you have to take the decision. What's the right thing to do? And your soul will give the answer. What's the right thing? As long as you have prepared yourself pretty good spiritually. All right, so shall we do the closing here? Oh, by the way, next week I may have to go to, I'll be going to Los Angeles, and I'll see if I reach there early, then we'll take class, but I have to go to somebody's marriage and everything, so I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll send the email. So if you don't receive the email, maybe we may not have a class. So most likely I'll send.
Okay? People get married on Wednesdays?
No. I mean, I have to go there and I have to conduct the puja and everything on Thursday, and Friday is this function, and Saturday is that, or what, all kind of crazy things, Yeah. So no, people don't get married on Wednesday, But some people may be so worked up that they may get married. I don't know. Who knows?
I think those are reserved for courts.
Yeah. All right. Javani ke gyan se suje lokalo, Solvani mastaka namo sada deta hudo. No, 9 times no come. Jai Jinendra. Nichai Vikram. Okay.
Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra.